There's a slightly more useful, perhaps, model, which looks a bit like this. Chit is at the center, right? Chit is the center. It means pure consciousness, right? Just consciousness. And that's happening all the time, consciousness. And that, awakening to that is Buddhahood, you know? That's why we do yoga, to awaken to that. Why? Because that's free. Why is it free? Because it has no characteristics, no limitations. It's ultimate potential. In some traditions, it's called Shiva, you know? And others, it's called Buddha, or Buddha mind, more correctly. And on. There's many different traditions, Kali and so on, different goddesses and gods are up, but this is pure consciousness. So that's at the center. And then, on the outside of that, we've got Shunyata. Shunyata, which means emptiness. The Hindi word for zero still is similar, has its root in this word. So Shunyata means emptiness. And some yoga traditions have this as the center. They go, the journey is about getting there, right? And not necessarily about getting there. The difference between some yoga traditions and others is the tantric tradition goes, actually, you got a little tiny bit further to go, right? And that's pure consciousness. Then on the outside of that, we have prana, which we've already discussed, how you say its name, and it looks like that, prana. Okay, which we talked about, so I won't go into that too much more. And then we've got citta, which means heart, mind, right? Heart, mind. And that's where the subtle body exists, and where all your thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories all exist there in citta. And then, more of course, we have deha, and in some systems vastu. Deha is body, right? So I'm going to write those in English because then you'll remember them better. I won't write some chit in English, but it's like empty, just a kind of pithy word for it. Energy, heart, mind, body, and this is sort of like stuff, right? These are levels in which we identify ourselves, right? So if you come to a vinyasa class and you start getting kind of fit, you start thinking, look at my body, tell me something good, right? Then you're identifying with deha, as yourself. And the trouble with that is it makes you feel really insecure and a bit addicted. Like, oh God, I'm looking so good and I feel so good, but don't take it away from me, right? Because you know that old age is round the corner, right? And it's going, hey, want to come my way? You go, no, I don't. Come my way. It's beautiful, But it's coming, right? We know that BKS Iyengar, beautiful asanas, but he's dead now. Beautiful man, dead now, and that's right. So his asanas didn't get, but he taught so many students, and his students ended up, I'm sure, getting better at the asanas than him, but they still went to him as their teacher because it wasn't about how the body looked, right, ultimately. So if you identify with the body, that's vulnerable, isn't it? Vulnerable. You can't stop getting ill, even if you want to. You might be really fit, you have all the green juices that you like, and you do, you have vinyasa, and you're super healthy, and then you get a cold. Oh, damn it, You can't beat it on its own level, so it's vulnerable, isn't it? Vastu is stuff, that's just my stuff. I'm quite proud of some of my stuff. I've got like a really nice rocking chair. I got from John Lewis. And I'm really proud. I really want my dad to come round, but he finds the stairs hard. But I really want him to come around and say, Dad, look at me, this is me. I am nice things, So that's attachment stuff. And the trouble with that, like I've got a motorbike as well, and I live in Brighton, it wants to go rusty the whole time, my motorbike. And I clean it, I'm like neurotic about my motorbike.
This is iPhones for most people,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because it's young people here,
Oh right, yeah. So I'm neurotic about it. Always clean. So this is vulnerable, isn't it? It's changeable. And then citta, this is like heart, the mind and the heart. That's also vulnerable, isn't it? So your thoughts are susceptible to, for example, I once had, it's probably too personal to say, but I'm going to say it. I once had a bunch of people come to me who had done my teacher training course, And they wanted to complain to me about, and they'd come together, and I hadn't seen any of them for months, and they'd come together and they'd kind of work themselves up with some complaints, and they tied the complaints together, and then they brought them to me, and they met me, and I was a bit nervous because I could tell they were a bit, fired up. And then a lot of their complaints just, and I was like, what? They didn't touch, they kind of made them up between them a little bit. There was some legitimate stuff, of course, but a lot of it was kind of, so they're mine. And then, because they were intelligent, nice people, they were immediately going, as I sort of answered their questions, they dropped the thing, but it can happen that your mind gets, even if you're a very nice, reasonable person, your mind can get changed by the people, can't it? What you read in the papers, what you see in videos. So it's not really your mind as such. It's influenced by society and so on. So it's vulnerable anyway, your heart mind is vulnerable, isn't it? So it's insecure. So if you identify with any of these things, even with prana, then you're going to feel insecure. And you've got two choices then when you feel insecure. One is just to stay with it and look for something that isn't insecure about your experience, or try to pretend somehow that these things are secure. Like, for instance, if you're in a day high, you just do more wheatgrass juice, and you go to the maybe plastic surgery and all that. So, you try and make that solid. You try, you get yourself cryogenically frozen when you die, and all that, because I'm the body and that's me. So it's vulnerable, so you try and fortify it. And the same with the mind, with your points of view, they're vulnerable. Like whatever I think or say about yoga, it's vulnerable to someone else coming in going, no, I know more than you. Which happens, because people do know more than me. So that's vulnerable too. So, then you defend your thoughts and feelings by joining a group, a gang, and then we all go, we all agree, don't we? You agree with it? Yeah, we all agree, okay, and then you're a stronger force, you see? But you're not really, because then there are other gangs with other people doing that, and then you get this sort of, all sorts of problems. Prana energy comes and goes, you can't control that either, you can get ill, and then what, you've got. So we're looking, and shunyata is potentiality, it's a field of potentiality. That's kind of like emptiness, but the quality of chit is it's neither empty nor full, it's just consciousness itself. So reflecting on consciousness itself in Masha is what we're doing, and we're doing that by not getting attached to any of these things, right? So when we're practicing pranayama, what we're essentially doing is loosening our pranic field, so that it flows. Because if prana gets stuck, we get a bit blocked, our energy gets a bit blocked, and we're not breathing properly, then our mind gets blocked, our body gets blocked, the whole thing gets blocked. If it doesn't get blocked, so then we're drawn out, we're drawn out to these insecurities. If it doesn't get blocked, then we start naturally falling into the centre. Now this is always, chit is always, you're never not pure consciousness, and that is completely free. You're never not completely free, you're always completely free. But a lot of the time, your attention goes out to these things. And you go, when your attention goes out, you go, I am that. That's what attention means. It doesn't, you're not saying it to you don't go in the morning, you don't look in the mirror and go, I am that. I am that body, do you? You don't do that on the mind, I'm having a thought, I am my thought. That's not how you do it. But you do in the way you get entangled, you get kind of a little bit caught up. Do you know what I mean? So that's when we call it identification. It's like a little bit like, my thoughts, maybe I need to go to a psychologist, or get some counselling because my thoughts are so, you get caught up. But if you relax, then energy flows. And you drop into this because that's the essence, that's the fundament, that's the ground being, that's referred to in all yoga sutras in different ways. Swarupa, Niratishayam, Param, so many different ways. Shiva, so many different ways. Hridayam, which is the heart. And the Upanishads often talk about the heart, and then the Tantras do as well. It doesn't mean the biological heart, it means the centre of your experience, which you all talk about, we all talk about when we say, I really felt that in my heart, or I'm coming from my heart. Do you know what I mean? If someone says, God, they're really coming from their heart, you know what's meant by that, don't you? So we use that term. So the reason I'm drawing this is because it's worth seeing that what we're doing in pranayama is, through experimentation, like a scientist might have something like a raw material and they might add a little bit of heat to it, or another chemical to it, or they might cool it down, or they might shake it, to learn about the qualities of that material. Do you know what I mean? In the same way, we use the pranayama techniques that we're about to look at, the breathing techniques as they're sometimes talked about, to stir prana, to play with prana, so that we can, so our identity comes back to prana, because prana, this area, represents a sort of, it's just a messy diagram, look at that, it's just a mess, but this, this represents a crossover. From here, from prana, it's super easy to fall into chitta, it's super easy to see chitta, pure consciousness, because you're flowing. It's also easy to go back the other way. So often people who practice quite a lot of modern postural yoga will get high levels of prana, high level of energy, they start feeling high, they start feeling really amazing, you know, and they kind of, you've probably felt it yourself, you kind of feel like, I feel great, I feel like I could conquer the world, with this energy, you know? And so one gets a bit addicted to it. And then one starts identifying with that as I am prana. But you see, it's vulnerable, because what happens if the yoga class isn't on? Oh, the yoga studio is closed, oh God. You know, or suddenly you get some problem, you know, with your body. Then you can't get your pranic fix, you can't get that pranic high. And then what tends to happen is this. As soon as you identify with prana, right, I am not, look at me, I've got so much energy, look at me. You walk around the world, it's like, feel so good, feel good, hello, and people respond to you, because you've got this prana. As soon as you do that, you go, I am prana. That's an idea of prana, it's no longer prana. Do you see what I mean? So you've made yourself go into a grosser place already. And that's why you get people who go mental who practice yoga. You know, like egomaniacs, you know what I mean? I'm not going to mention any names, but they're in the yoga news quite commonly. Egomaniacs. They get loads of prana and then they go, look at me, and people go, look at them. And they've got all this energy, but then they go, I am energy, I am amazing. Look at people responding to me, I'm amazing. And then they're not in prana anymore, they're in chitta, because they're, you know, it's an idea about prana rather than actually prana, do you see? So you can't think about prana, you have to just feel it, you know. And when you feel it, then it's much easier to change. Prana doesn't recognise at all the difference between your mind and your body and your breath, at all. It's like a sort of force that just, it comes to you and it doesn't go, oh, there's your mind, there's your body. It comes to all of them equally, you know. So if your body flows, your mind flows. If your mind flows, your body flows. Do you see what I mean? Prana doesn't care. We make the division between mind and body. We project it. It's not real, is it? You know, when you feel upset, your body feels funny, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Or if you feel like you've got too much on. Like I've got too much on at the moment. So sometimes you feel like you've got too much on, you kind of end up, you got so much on your shoulders, go tight, and you're not quite breathing right. Oh, there's so much, I'm so busy. And before you know it, your energy goes down as well, you know, because they are one, absolutely one. The only time when they're not one is if you're paralysed or something like that. But if you're not paralysed, your mind and your body and your breath are one. And that's this system here, just says these are not actual separations, but they are separate. We separate, we go to these areas and identify with them. But the real truth is we are all of these things simultaneously.